Hi, my name is Maridee and this is Dr. Neil.
Hi.
Hi. And today we're coming to you from the headquarters of nsquared in Sydney, Australia. And we're a company that does software development worldwide. And today we're going to talk about technology and education in our discussion. And last time we talked about collaboration, and this time we're going to talk about competition and the role of competition in education. So, Dr. Neil, some people think that competition is kind of a negative way to approach education. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely I guess, a school of thought that says that, education should be about learning, of course, and learning in collaborative ways. And there's a lot of advantages that we talked about some of them last time in the short video we did on collaboration. I think there's a huge number of advantages to competition type engagements as well. And the most obvious one is it's very much like the real world. And so you have to ask, what is education for? Is education purely so that people can pass exams? Is that the goal? Or is the education to ready people for the real world? Or is education to inspire people? Is education to create a better society, if you want? And that's, we put all our children through education from a very young age through to, well, some people never finish education. Some people are always going on education. And, what are the goals of that? Why do we put our children through education? Why do some people, even long after they could have finished education, carry on with education? And some of that is about competition. Some of that is about knowing more than the other person. Some of that is wanting to know more than the other person. Some of that is about, enhancing yourself, pushing yourself to that next level. Mm-hmm. And so you think about, why competition the right thing to do? I think very much so. In certain scenarios, competition leads to a much richer learning experience. People pay much more attention. And certain types of people have a much richer experience when they know they're going to compete. Mm-hmm. So they want to learn more. They go, oh, this is a compete. I have to do better than the other people. They'll pay more attention.
And that's not a good or bad thing. That's just an element, different elements of people's personalities.
Right. It's a personality thing, and the real world is full of competition. Mm-hmm. Are you going to win this deal? Is the other company going to win this deal? That's a competition type environment. You have to learn how to get used to it and learn how to deal with losing as well. Mm-hmm. I think mm-hmm. part of education is learning how to deal with not being the winner, deal with coming second place, deal with coming last. You will do some stage in your life. You will come last at some stage in your life. You will lose that mini or micro competition you're involved in, whether it's bidding for a house that you want to buy or trying to get a car that you want to buy that's on eBay or whatever mm-hmm. it is. Those are real life experiences that people have, and so learning how to deal with them is an important aspect of overall education.
Right. And even from childhood, it's been shown that there's an inherent desire to compete and play. And there's a great paper by Dr. Tom Verhoff called "The Role of Competition in Education" that kind of backs up some of what we're talking about here. That competition is a good thing.
You see that a lot, especially. We're supposed to be talking here about computing and software in education, mm-hmm. and you see that a lot with computer programs that we put in front of students, that they will find ways of turning them in, even if they're not designed that way, they may well find ways to turn them into competition type experiences. So we see that with even activities that we build specifically as collaboration activities. Some students will sit down, 2 or 3 students are quite likely to sit down, go through the collaboration for a while, and then go, how can I reframe this into a competition type mm-hmm. experience? And they may do a turn-taking type thing where it's a collaborative exercise, designed that 3 of them will do it together, and then they'll take turns, each one having a go to see if they can do it on their own, and who can do it better on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that a lot. So I think it's a natural desire, it's a human desire to try and better yourself, better than your peers. And a lot of it is about relationship with your peers as well, and that's an interesting aspect of competition, is that it's not just competing against yourself. It's not saying, last time I got a C, can I get a B this time? Last time I got a B, can I get an A this time? If everyone else is getting A's and you got a C, even if you got a D last time, you probably won't be happy. It's about how you position yourself within your peer group. Mm-hmm. So a lot of competition is also about raising the entire level of the peer group. Right. Because if they're all competing, the whole level goes up.
Right.
And that's an interesting aspect of it as well.
So granted that competition is a good thing in education, it brings out the best in people in many ways. What are some of the technologies that are currently available that can work?
Yeah, so last time when we talked about collaboration, we talked about MultiPoint and Surface. And again, we can use these two technologies for building competition type activities. Surface very much in terms of, you've got 4 people, for example, sitting around the table. Each person can have their side of the table where they're taking part of an activity that's happening on the whole table, and they're doing things, maybe bring things to their side of the table. That's a value add in terms of competition for Surface type engagement. MultiPoint, again, we can do things where each mouse, we can record the movements of each mouse, we can track that, and we know when someone has completed an activity, their cursor has completed an activity. So MultiPoint is multiple mice plugged into the same PC. Every person gets their own cursor. They can carry out activities and compete with each other. Who can do something first? Who can get to the right answer quickest, etc. And with MultiPoint, you can also give each cursor an area of the screen, same as I described on Surface. So they can be locked into a specific area, so you can do quizzes and things like that, where each person can only answer their questions. They can't answer other people's questions.
Right. So the social aspect of both of these two technologies is really great and useful for competition type scenarios.
Right, yes. I mean, we play competition type games sitting at a table. Think of a really simple game like Monopoly or those kind of things. It's a compete type game, but we play it sitting at a table. So tabletop experiences with something like Microsoft Surface is a very rich way of doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for talking with us today about
You're
competition and education, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thanks.